It's a David and Goliath fight, isn't it? But my goodness, the power in the elbow of British mum and social media campaigner Ellen Room. Well, she's travelled to Los Angeles for the case, and this is because her son Jules was just 14 when he died in what she believes was a viral challenge online that went wrong. She believes his social media accounts could still provide the answer, and she's fighting for access to his data. We'll ask her about that in a moment.
Well, Ellen, I'm pleased to say, joins us now from Los Angeles. It's so good to speak to you this morning. Our heart always goes out to you for what you've been through, and our admiration as well, that you take something so tragic and try to make a difference with it. And you're over there supporting parents, US parents, who have taken this action to take the big tech companies to court. Spell out for us why this could be a pivotal moment for all who are concerned.
Thank you. Yeah, it's for me massively important to join the other parents because this is a global problem, and I think this is the case of its kind. It's putting the product on trial as opposed to the content. So in the US, they have something called Section 230 law, which rules about the content, and social media companies are hiding behind that. And this lawsuit is about the design of the product. So it's about algorithms that feed children harmful content. It's about addictive by design, and it's about the product and the fault with its design as opposed to the content.
And there are some big names that we're likely to see having to appear and give evidence, aren't we? I understand this week Alan Mason, who's the head of Instagram, has spoken, and others, you know, that will come in that are big players in this.
Yeah, I think his name's Adam, actually, the CEO.
Adam, I do apologise. Yeah.
He was there yesterday, and I met some of the other American parents as they came out of the courtroom. The judge had told the American parents that they weren't allowed to show any emotion in the courtroom, which is incredibly hard when particularly these children have lost, these parents have lost their children from social media harms. And they came out and we cried on the steps of the courtroom. It's incredibly hard. And you've got Adam was saying that he was found, I mean, he knew he had bereaved parents in the courtroom, and he was saying that he has 3 children, which is a very difficult job. And as us as bereaved parents said, try not having a child. That's particularly hard.
Feels insensitive,
Just
to say the least.
so heartbreaking, isn't it, for you? And maybe gives an illustration of where their heads are as well. Look, you have had incredible support, you and the families out there, as part of this case, including Prince Harry. We just got a little moment when he came to talk to all of you, and then we'll ask you what that meant to you.
You have got them to court. We didn't get them to court. You got them to court. Yeah. Okay? We've said time and time again that this is a David versus Goliath situation. I've been in some similar situations myself, vastly different, but when you're sitting in court, and if you have that feeling of just overwhelming emotion.
Well, it's quite remarkable, really, isn't it, Ellen? Because, you know, one knows that Harry talks about mental health. We know he's passionate, but there he seemed to be just really talking to you as somebody who's in a fight, the fight for their lives almost, you know, that feeling he talked about in his body and that you might feel when you're sitting there. Did that help? And how was it to be in the room with Harry talking in that sort of quite visceral way? He got quite choked up.
He did. I've met him before. I met in April last year when we were over in New York with the other bereaved parents, and he's met a lot of the bereaved parents and absolutely supports this massively. But you know, he really summed it up well. You know, that feeling in your tummy of this is and I do that a lot. This is an emotional thing. As do the other parents. We can't protect our children. It's too late for our children, but we can make a difference for other people's children, and that's why we all continue to fight. Which makes me emotional when you think about the grief in that room with the amount of parents that have lost children. And this is about protecting other people's children. We cannot protect our own children anymore, but we can make a difference for the other children in this world.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because, you know, people have talked about this moment that you're involved in as being similar to the tobacco trials when there was a historical mass litigation against the tobacco firms, and then they ended up paying millions and millions of pounds for ongoing healthcare problems. Of course, there is no healthcare issues because your children are gone. I mean, it's so dreadful. But I also want to talk to you about what's happening back home for you, because I know that the local police force, you're in touch with them at Gloucestershire about the data on Jules's phone, which you just haven't been able to get hold of, because it's so important to you to know, well, every second of your precious son's life and what he was thinking, what he was looking at, because it might just, who knows? What do you think it will give you? Because they are looking into it now, aren't they, to try and give you that data, I understand.
Right from the word go, I always said you've missed something. You have missed something that happened. So there was nothing found offline with Jules. He had no mental health issues. There was no sign of bullying. And I've always said what happened online. And I think it was probably 3 weeks ago now that the Gloucestershire Police confirmed that they do have a forensic download of Jules's phone that was taken 13 days after he died. They just never bothered looking at it forensically. So they are looking at that again. I had to spend 4.5 hours the other day with the police giving a statement. They never took a statement from anybody when Jules first died. And I had to relive every, as they put, sound, smell, vision from finding Jules, which was horrific. And Matt, Jules's dad, did that yesterday, and his friends are doing the same. We are desperate to try and find some answers, but to relive almost 4 years down the line, those memories that, whilst I want to block them out my mind, I have regular flashbacks to that night, but to live it in graphic detail is incredibly hard.
Are you hopeful that all of this turmoil that you have to keep regurgitating for other people will lead to some answers that you're looking for? Or
yeah, there's two things I want here. I want answers to what happened to Jules if I can. I mean, it's never going to bring Jules back, but I want answers. If I can find out what on earth happened, yes, I want that. And if we can learn from it, and if we can make a difference to other children, and if I can prove it with social media, you know, I just want to make a difference to the other children in this world. And I want to know what happened to my son.
you know, it's just that awful. I've got my phone here, you know, my son's 13, he's gone off with his phone today to school or whatever. And the idea that you have to wait 4 years, it's the last thing he touched, it's the thing, you know, it's just, the weight is so preposterous and it is so cruel. It is so cruel to add.
But I'm not the only parent.
Yes.
No. I'm not the only parent.
Horrendous.
I know many other parents in this situation, and it's fundamentally wrong. The police in this country really do, which is why I've been campaigning for Jules Law. I want it automatic. When a child dies, you just preserve that data within 5 days. This is evident, and I know plenty of other parents, and I've met an awful lot in the US in the same situation. But in the UK, if we can preserve that data, then we will not have parents in my position going, what on earth happened to my child? And I really, really need the law to change, which I'm working on.
Well, you're a warrior. You're a warrior for all of us. I mean,
you are, and
the job nobody wants.
No, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's horrific that you're being driven by something that's irrevocable for you and break your heart for the rest of your life. But for Radva and I and other parents who are fearful for our teens and our youngsters and where it could lead, we're just so grateful. So all power to your elbow. Thank you so much for talking to us this morning. And keep in touch, because we're all invested in how this works out for all of us.
I'm going to change the law. It's going to happen.
Well, Ellen, thank you very much indeed. Really, really good to speak to you this morning.
And the rest of your family.
If you've been affected by any of the issues we've been talking about this morning, in a way it affects all of us, doesn't it? Then there is help and support available at itv.com/helplines.